Under the law, it wasn't a war crime. It was murder. Let me explain why. I'm Cody Harnish, UCMJ attorney. I'm a former JAG. Now I only practice military law. So this is what we learned about the survivors. Last week in a closed-door congressional briefing, we now have a more clear picture of what happened between the 40-minute gap from the first strike to the second strike. And lawmakers who saw the classified footage say that the survivors were sitting or standing on capsized wreckage, shirtless and unarmed, no radios, no weapons, unable to maneuver and clinging to debris. They were defenseless. And then they were killed in a follow-up double tap strike. And the admiral reportedly told Congress that these people weren't even going to the United States at all. They're going to another country, a route towards Europe, meaning these men pose no imminent threat to U.S. forces or U.S. territory. If this were a war, it would be a war crime. Let's assume purely for argument's sake that the U.S. is in a non-international armed conflict. If that were true, the law of armed conflict applies, including Common Article 3 of the Geneva Conventions. Wounded, shipwrecked, or otherwise out of the fight shall not be made the object of attack. And the DoD Law of War Manual itself says the same thing. Shipwrecked individuals may not be attacked, or anyone who is wounded or shipwrecked and unable to defend themselves is orders to combat, out of the fight and protected. Given what we know about the survivors, even in a hypothetical war, this second strike would be a war crime, the intentional killing of protected persons. But here's the truth. We're not in a war. Under international law, you only have a non-international armed conflict when there is sustained armed violence and an organized armed group capable of military operations. Drug cartels don't meet that standard. Drug trafficking is not an armed attack, and cartels are not fighting against the United States. Since this is not a war, the law of armed conflict does not apply. The correct legal framework here is international human rights law and criminal law, UCMJ, Article 118, murder. The unlawful, intentional killing of another human being. These survivors posed no imminent threat. They were defenseless. They were shipwrecked. And under the law that actually applies, the first strike was unlawful. The second strike was unlawful. Both are murder. Share this so others understand the law behind the headlines. In the meantime, I'm going to be right here defending America's defenders.